Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss the 2013 version of Evil Dead, starring Jane Levy, Jessica Lucas, Shiloh Fernandez, Lou Taylor Pucci, and Elizabeth Blackmore, directed by Fede Alvarez. The same director as I've reviewed him before in Don't Breathe, the first one, and The Girl in the Spider's Web. Now, this is his first film I remember going to the movies for, and this was before those two movies came out. And I remember going to theaters for this, but was I impressed with it? I don't remember. Let's get into the movie. We open the movie with a girl who is possessed by the evil dead and is taken to get rid of it with the evil book, or the Book of the Dead, or whatever, as it's still alive, and her father wants to get rid of it with the people that capture her and burn her to hell. And this opening scene is not scary, but it's weird because I know this is 2013's take on the material, but I just find this movie adequate at best. Is this opener is fine, but a tad bit weird for me. We get introduced to our characters: David, played by Shiloh Fernandez; Olivia, played by Jessica Lucas; David's girlfriend Natalie, played by Elizabeth Blackmore; his friend Eric, played by Lou Taylor Pucci; and his sister Mia, played by Jane Levy, before she was ever in Don't Breathe and any other stuff that you might have seen her and know her from, as well as their doggy grandpa. Aw. And I do like any and do I like any of these people for this whole movie? No. I don't like any of these characters. David is no Bruce Campbell, first of all. Second of all, Olivia comes off like a bitch. And third of all, Natalie comes off unbelievably naive. Fourth of all, Eric comes off like a douchebag. And fifth and final of all, Mia does her best not to smoke pot anymore, but she's the only one that has an arc. But honestly, the actress Jean Levy is better in Don't Breathe than another film of director Fede Alvarez I did not like as much, as he has this obnoxious habit of making extreme violence, as it got on my nerves in both Don't Breathe and The Girl in the Spider's Web, which is another film, like I brought up, that I don't like either, that he directed. While Mia overdosed and didn't tell David, and she smells something that stinks, while Olivia wants to trap her in the cabin where she and David stayed as kids, and because of that awful smell, Mia wants to get out of the cabin, and they all refuse to get her out of there. And their characters are not the greatest, as the storytelling is not that great either. They find a cellar as Eric finds the Book of the Dead, and a scene later where, while Mia goes off for a walk in the rain, Eric reads the Book of the Dead as it possesses Mia and rapes her and becomes something evil. I like to call for the rest of the movie. For the rest of the movie, she's acting evil like Scary Mia, as I'm gonna just keep calling her for the rest of the show. And Eric is such a fucking idiot to the point he reads the Curse of the Evil Dead and gives it to Mia. It makes me think this motherfucker is dead by the end of the movie. And David is stupid enough to listen to Olivia while she wants to leave the cabin, and is almost, and by she I mean Mia, and is almost successful but gets raped by a tree. And the cinematography here is absolutely ugly, as this is an ugly looking film that is absolutely fucking terrible to watch at times. David and the gang find her and put her back in the cabin, while Olivia, giving her treatment she would get at the hospital. And Mia is talking to her about a woman in the woods. She tells David there's something evil in the woods, and it's with them now. And David comes off pretty fucking stupid, as he doesn't want to leave her to leave the cabin. I'm thinking, for the love of God, just get her the fuck out of there, for Christ's sakes, as this is utter garbage as this script is. David finds Grandpa dead in a log, while he is led to believe Scary Mia killed the poor doggy, and he tries to ask her what happened to the dog and acts all abusive and shit about it, and they decide to take her to the hospital, but unfortunately, they're trapped, and that's how we got this movie. And I was missing Bruce Campbell at this point, but he does make a cameo at the end, which I'll get there when I get there. As this is not the original nor Army of Darkness, good or mediocre, this is bad to begin with. Scary Mia comes out of the room with a gun and shoots David in the arm, and she says, "You're going to die tonight," with a demonic voice, and spills blood in Olivia's mouth, which made me think of the movie 28 Days Later, when the zombie vomits blood to become the infected zombie, as they put a Scary Mia in the basement, while Olivia becomes one of them by pissing herself. And the blood that got in her mouth, thanks to Scary Mia, and the face of Scary Mia looks pretty bad, as well as Olivia's face looked also bad. Dead Olivia gets a needle and stabs Eric in the eye area multiple times, which I hated, by the way, because I have phobia of eyeballs, to be fair, and it didn't scare me, but it just looked horrible. Scary Mia calls on Natalie like she's innocent, but it's the evil inside her talking to as Natalie realizing as soon as she talks like a demonic man. She tries to escape the basement, but Scary Mia captures her and cuts her own damn tongue in half. Ugh, that was fuck. And puts blood in her mouth, which is gross for damn sure. But I'm not scared at this point in the movie. Eric tries to burn the Book of the Dead, but it won't burn. And the acting in this movie, even in this particular scene, is just awful. Awful to listen to, as Evil Dead 2 had a good reason. But here, this is absolutely unacceptable. While Natalie tries to wash the wound on her hand, and Scary Mia tells her not to cut off the arm, but she does anyways. But if she doesn't, she will become one of the Evil Dead, as she eventually does, as she gets more pale and she shoots Eric with a staple gun, as well as David, and they do kill her off while she attacks, but I just don't care at this point. And that's the problem with the movie right off the bat, is that I just don't care about this anymore. Eric laughs out of the blue, and I'm thinking, what the fuck's wrong with him? Well, David takes him outside, and he becomes a part of the Evil Dead, and David tries to burn the cabin down, as well as his sister, aka Scary Mia, while she sings their lullaby they learned as kids, whose mother sang it to them when she was alive, which is a poor excuse to have that plot in the point in the movie. As David Rambo's up to get rid of the Evil Dead once and for all, and goes down a flooded cellar and bumps into Scary Mia as she tries to drown him to death. But Eric saves his ass just after disliking him from the beginning of the movie to now, which is unearned in my opinion. As Eric dies, David puts a bag on Scary Mia's head to suffocate her while burying her in the ground, but he can't do it because he hears Mia turning back to normal and singing the lullaby song, and I admit it, this motherfucker is a coward, and tries to get her back to normal while he electrifying her back to normal. And she does get back to normal, which is not like the series whatsoever, and I'm getting pissed off at this point. David leaves Mia outside as she's back to normal, while he gets the car keys, and a dead person stabs Eric in the throat, as it's the girl from the beginning of the movie, and David decides to die by shooting the cabin on fire while letting Mia go, and she's encountered by the dead girl as it's raining blood, which was hilarious in a dumb way. Mia is fighting off the dead girl and eventually cuts her up with a chainsaw like Ash did in Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness. And it stops raining at this point, and the movie ends with credits rolling to, if you watch the theatrical cut, a voice that sounds like the voice from the original movie, and we get a brief cameo of Ash returned by Bruce Campbell after the credits saying groovy. And if you watch the unrated version, Mia gets out there and I think she's possessed or something like that. That's all the difference I got, as she gets a ride from a trucker. And this climax pissed me off, as I'm worried about the new movie, as it has gotten good ratings. We'll see how that goes. Now it's time for my rating. I'll give this movie a 3.8 out of 10. This is an ugly looking film with the cinematography. The characters are fucking stupid, and the violence in this movie was just horrible to watch at times, as I wanted every single motherfucker dead the entire time I was watching the movie. The script was utter garbage, as is this movie, as I was missing Bruce Campbell other than the cameo after the credits in the theatrical cut, which was the best thing about the movie in the theatrical cut, in my opinion, as these effects on the evil faces looked so bad. So bad. The movie didn't scare me, nor did it get me scared, nor did I care about for the characters, as it was just gross for damn sure. But this is by far the weakest in the series, so, as this is a non-recommendation. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next time I will be back with Evil Dead Rise. And until next time, they're gonna get you, not another peep. Time to go to sleep.